Tonight we focused on the Plateau Massacre and matters arising, and I've been speaking with the Director General and National Coordinator of the North Central Development Initiative, Comrade Musa Otigba, who is in our Abuja studio, as well as the Director General of International Institutes of Professional Security, Dr. Tony Ofoyeto, who joins us via Zoom. Gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with politics tonight. Now let's move on with this conversation. The Senate has also summoned heads of military and security over these attacks. Dr. Ofoyeto, let me come to you now. What's the point of this?
Thank you very much. Well, to me, it's just like let's be seen as working. That is what I will see from it. It's more or less like a normal routine in National Assembly that if the people are crying so much and there's so much noise, why don't let's just summon the service chiefs and see if we can get some level of pacification from it, because it ends up achieving next to nothing, absolutely nothing. Whatever the service chiefs will tell them, to what extent will that be instructive as far as their primary responsibilities are concerned? So for me, you are talking about security matter, and there are challenges, and you feel that you want to just get explanation from them, and they have explained what next would you do. And just cast your mind back, you will see that it has been happening in Jonathan's time, in Buhari's time, and of course, just more or less like an ongoing ritual in the National Assembly. But having said so too, I think the advantage also is that it will put the service chiefs on their toes and also help them to look at the strategy that they are applying and see if the strategy is actually worth the application, or they should change their strategy. Because once a service chief is invited to National Assembly, technically it could also be an indictment on your professionalism. Because at the end of the day, if you are not too careful, you begin to hear people that do not understand so much about how it works in security terrain to begin to call for the removal of service chiefs and all those stuff like that. And that is why in most cases, it's always better and it's the best to avoid a situation where you have this hue and cry all over the country by being proactive. And when I say proactive, I mean identify those states that are restive, identify those states that are hot and red zone, and be able to put extra security measures in place to make sure that such things do not occur again. Now, I also want to say this very quickly because I know that my colleague in Abuja hammered very much on intelligence agency and talked about the establishment of a national intelligence agency or Nigerian, whichever. I think that from my own understanding professionally, the problem is not the lack of intelligence, the problem is the use of intelligence. The intelligence agencies, you can't just quickly indict them. In all security agencies and formation in Nigeria, we have intelligence departments. Apart from the fact that you have the DSS, you have the DIA, you have DMI, you have the, even all of them, Navy, Air Force, they all have theirs. You also have the NIA too, which are all basically either for national or international intelligence, like the NIA. But having said so, in most cases, you would also hear DSS coming out to say that we have gotten intelligence that X and Z will happen. We sent the report to the agency that ought to act on it. They didn't act on it. You will hear that. The one that happened in Plateau State that we are talking about, even the military came out to say that not as if we didn't hear at all. We had it. But because of the topography, we could not assess the terrain as when we ought to assess it. So it now brings the whole thing to response timing. And that was why I was talking about some programs that you need to put in place. You don't have this numerical strength to be able to be at every place at the same time. So why don't you have an understanding with each of the communities, let them constitute themselves, you have the civilian JTF and all those stuff like that. But this time around, if the government is still reluctant as arming them, what you need to do is have them to constitute them into first responder team. Now, when I say first responder team, all you need to do is They become like a first responder. They give you information, and you have a response team that is going to be responsible for maybe 4 or 5 communities, but the response timing will be so short, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes. They are stationed in a particular location, and each of those vigilantes, each of those community leaders and rulers and all those stuff like that, they have their numbers, they have their contact, they have everything. It can be through SMS, it can be through WhatsApp, it can be through phone call. Once there is any challenge within their community, they send it to the response team. The response team is actually supposed to be a combination of all military and security formation. Now they move into the village within a short period of time. That would also save the issue of manpower and all those stuff like that. And once you are aware, they are aware that you already have a standby response team. They don't need to be in one. Their own is just within their own particular jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction could be 5 local governments, it could be 10 communities, it could be 5 communities, but they are well armed, they are well catered for. And another thing the government should look at is the resources. Because yes.
All right, Doctor. I mean, apart from the CDS talking about not having sufficient intelligence to foil the attack, he also said the military are leveraging a lot on getting technology, getting helicopters to ensure that we get enablers to make them respond as quickly as possible. So is this about getting more equipment or competence?
Now, I'm happy. Thank you. God bless you for that. Inshallah, God bless you for that question. You see, there are 2 ways to it. Technology, you are either inventing technology or you are buying technology. If you invent technology, you will not have problem with the use. You will not have problem with professionalism. You can maneuver it at your own will and use it however you choose to use it. But if you are buying technology, you must buy technology that you can understand the use very well, and you can also do what? You can also be able to crack any problem that is arising from the technology. I give you an example. We have Tucano jets in Nigeria today. We've not been able to deploy Tucano jets because the sellers of Tucano jets are the people that will dictate when and how to use Tucano jet, who the Tucano jet should be used against. So we just have it in museum as it were today. So in as much as I agree to this extent that yes, we can purchase technology, but the problem is not purchasing technology. The problem is understanding and mastery of the use of that technology. You have seen over the years avalanche of mistakes that have been made to the extent that IDP camp has been mistakenly attacked, villages have been mistakenly attacked, people in their respective homes, farms, and villages have been mistakenly attacked, and we are talking of more than 1,000 deaths as a result of mistake from such fire. You could say collateral damage and all those stuff, but we are talking about mastery of the use of technology. It is when we understand technology very well that we should talk about purchasing that technology.
All right.
If we understand it halfly, then we should not. Then another thing is technology that are license-based, such that you have to be renewing or you have to pay license. If you are not paying the license, then the software will not be given to you, or the software has to be renewed on an annual basis. Forget about such technology. You don't need it because you are going to be at the mercy of the inventor or the seller of that technology.
All right, Doctor.
Be able to look at technology. Yes, please.
Right. Comrade, let me come to you. The House of Reps has called for a probe. What can this help to achieve? And how will you describe the way the federal government has handled the Christmas Eve massacre?
My dear sister, probe. Well, nobody can stop them from doing what they want to do. They have called for probe. If they want to probe, let them probe. But you and I know, you have been in this country. There is never an incident of this nature that takes place without a probe. They will set up different, even down to Commission of Inquiry, National Assembly Probe Committee, this and that. We are not talking about probe now. What we are after in Nigeria today is how do we get solution? How do we bring this incessant killing? How do we stop the killing in Plateau, in Kogi, in Nasarawa, in Bruno, in Imo, in all parts of Nigeria? How do we bring the killing to an end? And that is why we are talking about, we are profiling these solutions. We are just giving his opinion. We are giving our opinion. The government can, and the people of Nigeria can think about it. My dear sister, you cannot continue to do the same thing every day and expect a different result. We will continue to get the same result. So we know that there is DSS that is involved in intelligence gathering. We also know that DSS is involved in arrest and prosecution and investigation of other high-profile crimes against the state. They are involved in protection of some senior citizens of the country. They are involved in so many things. The Nigeria police will tell you they are also in intelligence gathering. What we are saying, if you want to, you can separate them. The interagency collaboration that we think will work for Nigerian security agencies to help bring insecurity to an end has failed. It's not working. If the DSS can come up and say they got the intelligence, according to my colleague in Lagos, that the DSS said they got the intelligence, but the people that received the intelligence did not use it. It means that the interagency collaboration is not working. We are saying in North Central that, look, let the Nigeria government look at the issue of having a separate agency for intelligence gathering.
All right, comrade.
And separate their work. When they have when they have the intelligence, then they pass it to the agencies that need to use that intelligence. We are also calling on the governors of North Central to look at the issue of regional security. They can set up a regional security network like we have in the southeast, like we have in the southwest. Let them think of that now. Let them think of that now. And this message is directly to the chairman of North Central Governors Forum, Engineer A.A. Sule, and his colleagues to look at establishing the North Central Regional Security Network. That also will help a long way alongside the North Central Development Commission that we are proposing. So these are the things that the North Central Development Initiative
quickly, because of time, let's also talk about care for survivors and those displaced. What do you think is the best way to care for them?
Well, to be honest with you, there is no amount of care that you say is enough for somebody who is injured for doing nothing, for somebody who is wounded for doing nothing, for no offense of any kind. So, but what if the government want to care for them, take care of their bills, put measures in place to make sure that they have what to leverage on after the incident? What if you can bring some of them, if they are those that are educated, that are, that have the necessary qualification, give them jobs, take them out of their community. Those that are in business, empower them to continue in their business or to even improve. If need be, let them move out of their community and go and do better in other areas. I heard the North Central Governors Forum donated 100 million. So we thank them, we appreciate them. That's a good one. But we are calling for the judicious use of that 100 million to care for the victims of these attacks. Whoever is in charge of receiving the money and any other measures that people and governments from all over the country and other parts of the world want to use in caring for the victims, it should be judiciously used and it should go to the direct victims so that the victims will also have cause to appreciate the government and those that care for them at the end of the day.
Doctor, let me come to you. Comrade just talked about North Central Security Network, and this recent attack has increased the call for establishment of state or community policing. In less than 2 minutes, 1 minute thereabouts, what's your own view?
Well, I think the argument would have been very sound and acceptable, except for Section 428 of the Criminal Code, which outlaws possession of arms by private individuals. The Amotekun is being bedeviled today by that same section. Ebebiagu is being bedeviled today by that same section. The Sokoto Massa is being bedeviled today by that same section. Now, what that simply means is that if I had the governor of Sokoto State saying, Plateau State saying enough is enough, what can you do? He can do next to nothing, absolutely nothing, except they put pressure on government to amend the act in such a manner that if you are not going to allow individuals to bear arms, then allow government-sponsored security agencies and paramilitary agencies to bear arms. Let the Amotekun bear arms. Let the Bebiagu bear arms. Let Sokoto Mashat. Let all these organizations, let them bear arms and complement the effort of police, army, navy, and air force and NSCDC. They don't have the numerical strength. But when you allow these bodies to bear arms and you now leave state security in the hand of the governor, then at that point in time, he becomes the true chief security officer of his state. He knows what to do. He knows who to bring in to be able to do what? Achieve true security. But as it is now, we're just kidding. We have not gotten to anywhere, and we're not going anywhere yet.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. I mean, this is an ongoing conversation, and we will not stop talking about it because Nigerians cannot continue to die like their right to life has ultimately been violated. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your perspective on the program. I've been speaking with the Director General and the National Coordinator of the North Central Development Initiative, Comrade Musa Otigba, as well as the Director General of International Institute of Professional Security, Dr. Tony Ofoyeton. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Really appreciate your insights on the program tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Good night.